Hey, what up guys? Okay, today's a different kind of a video. As some of you know, I left the police department like 8 months ago, and I've been doing my own business serving court process, which is serving subpoenas. Knock knock, you've been served, that type of thing. Since I've begun, I've got a lot of people who have asked me how to get into this, and if it's difficult, if it's easy, if it pays well, what's involved, what do you have to have. I get that question quite a bit. So I thought I'd make a video so anybody else out there who's wanting to maybe get into this can know how I did it and what I have involved in it. So anyway, we're going to break it down to some simple steps. Step one, the first thing that I did was went and got clients. There's no sense in going any further if you can't get any business. So I went knocking on doors. And my suggestion is going to be any place that has a line of credit. So you've got furniture stores. You've got tire stores like Les Schwab. Of course, your bread and butter is going to be your payday loans, your installment loans. Those are the places I went to, and I started with one store. One store turned into two, turned into three. I'm up to 17 stores that I serve for now. Every single one of them is an installment loan store. I've done the tire stores in the past, the furniture stores in the past, but my bread and butter is going to be installment loans because they go through more people that default than I think anybody else. Step number two, you're going to need to get licensed. I went through the state of Utah. I got my sole proprietorship licensing, which allows me to use my social security instead of a tax ID number to pay my taxes at the end of the year. That's most likely what you're going to want to do, given the fact you don't have employees. At least you may not have employees. At least starting out, you won't. I have had people in the past help me, but they're 1099 contracts. The state allows that, so I found no need to go with a corporation or an LLC or anything like that because I can do this all on my own. I'm a one-man band when it comes to this. You're going to want to go to your local city building and find out what they're going to require for licensing. Mine required, I had a license, but I didn't have to pay for it. Because I don't manufacture anything, I don't have a retail outlet, nothing like that. So I just had to have a license that said I could do it, and not a soul in my neighborhood knows that I run a business out of my home. Step number three, you're gonna wanna consider what vehicle you've got. I went and specifically bought a Volkswagen TDI diesel for my paper serving business because I get 50 miles a gallon in that car. They're extremely reliable, at least this is my third one, they have been for me. It costs next to nothing to operate it. The less it costs you to operate, the more profit margin you're gonna have. More than once, I have covered my valley one end to the other in one working day. We're talking 400 miles. If you have something that's not very fuel efficient, you're going to feel it. Step number four, it's going to be about record keeping. Not just for your taxes at the end of the year, but for what you serve and what you have to serve and what you have in your inventory currently that still needs to be served, along with all the associated. This is the form I use. You simply fill it out. Then you have basically a carbon copy, basically, of information. So when you serve the paper, you fill it out right here, who, when, and where. I can write down the rest of the information as far as return of service and when I get paid. That's an easy way to keep your logs. As far as taxes, you're going to want to write things off. Everything you spend for your business, you write it off. With my vehicle, I write off my mileage. So I didn't write off the purchase price of it. That you can, but that's not the way I did it. I write off mileage. So for 2018, the federal government's allowing 54.5 cents a mile of tax credit, which means for every mile I drive, I don't get taxed on 54.5 cents of income. You're going to want to keep detailed records as the IRS, if they audit you, they're going to want to see all that stuff. Step number five, this is going to be learned by doing it. You're going to want to figure out the best time in your area to serve papers, the times people are most likely to be home. For me, it's evening times. It's different in each area, actually. So if I go on the north end of my valley, I can usually get people any time of day, but especially on Sundays. I go into the south end, like Salt Lake City. I don't have a lot of luck during the day, but I always have luck in the evenings and almost always on Saturday mornings. So it's going to be trial and error for you to figure out what areas are the most efficient at what times. Step number six, this is a big one. You're going to need to learn how to be sneaky. These people know who you are, they know why you're there, and they're not going to answer the door. Yeah, you get people that do, but you're going to find a large percentage of people that know what's up, and they will avoid you like the plague. I've oftentimes used the knock, knock, knock Hey, I'm your neighbor, I got some of your mail. Works especially well in apartment complexes. Another thing is, don't go showing up in a shirt and tie. They're going to expect that. They're going to expect somebody serving professional paperwork to show up in a shirt and tie. I literally go just like I am right here. They don't expect me to be a legitimate guy. That makes a big difference. Also, when you take your paperwork, I take it, I usually roll it up like this, and I put it in my hoodie pocket with my hands on it. So when they look out the window and they see there's a guy standing there, nothing is in his hand, they don't expect it. As soon as they answer the door, get them to confirm who they are or if that person lives there before you tell them who you are or what you've got. Because if you first say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I've got a service for so-and-so, are they here? They're going to say no every time. If you say, hey, I'm so-and-so, is so-and-so here? They're curious as to what you have and what goodies you might be bringing them. They'll usually admit to it. That's when you pop it on them. Then it's too late for them to deny who they are or if that person lives there. Step number 7. Time management, huge on this one. You're self-employed. You're not getting paid hourly. So the more time you're away from home, if you're not serving papers, you're not making money. When I go out working, I don't usually stop for lunch. I barely stop for the fuel at the gas station, maybe get me a drink at the gas station. That is it. Only necessary stops. Because if I'm gone for 6 hours and I make $600, I just made $100 an hour. But if I want to take time to BS with people, if I want to take time to eat lunch and play on my phone, before you know it, you're out there for 8 hours and you're not making $100 an hour. So just be conscious of your time. Leave at the right time of day to avoid traffic. Come home at the right time of day to avoid traffic. That all counts and all makes a big difference at the end of the day, especially when you start counting how much hourly you're making. Step number 8. Okay, it's something called a return of service. Basically, it's a receipt. So if I serve somebody some paperwork, the court wants to know exactly what it is and when and who. So they want to know all the details of that service. So it's called a return of service. It's a form. I designed my own. The court oftentimes provides you with one. If you go online, there's templates all over of it. I designed my own template and I just change it each little bit, names and whatnot every time I do a new one, and I email these to the court. A lot of courts require that you give them a copy of what was served. So you're going to want to make sure you have a copy of whatever it is you're serving before you serve it. I can only speak for Utah. I don't know what outside of the state, but for Utah, the court requires that they receive that return of service within 10 calendar days of you serving the paperwork. So when I get out serving, I come home, I sit right down, and I complete all my return of services, send them all off to the courts. Usually they only take a couple of minutes to do. Step number 9. Okay, so of course, being a business, you're going to have some form of billing software because you can't just go into the store with a napkin with your bill written on it, right, and give it to who owes you money. I use QuickBooks. I use their $10 a month, cheapest thing that they offer. I fill out invoices, and I keep track of all my expenses with it. That's all I do. So it looks professional. It has my company heading on the top. I usually email it to the stores, or I take it in and drop it off by hand. And it's as simple as that. And QuickBooks stores it also. Come tax time, you'll have everything you've made. It keeps track of all your income, keeps track of all your expenses. It's perfect. It works great, and it's only $10 a month. That brings us to our final step, number 10, and it's the best one there is because it's about getting paid. If there's one thing you want to make sure you stay on top of, is keeping your clients billed out so you can get paid. Because if you don't get paid, you can't pay your bills. Guys, this is a fun way to make money. When you consider my hours worked to my income made, I probably average about $100 an hour. No, I don't work 40 hours a week. I work about 40 hours a month. But it's still more money than I was making at the police department. A fraction of the time, about 25% of the time I was putting in, which leaves open more time for my family and my other business. It's a great way to make a living. Go out there, get your clients, follow these steps. If you guys have anything else to add to this, leave some comments below. If you have any questions, leave some comments below. Guys, I appreciate you subscribing to my channel, watching my videos. Have a good one. I'm out.